So recently, the Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., has asked the Advisory Committee for Immunization Practices to take a closer look at some aspects of vaccines. One is the aluminum adjuvants that are contained in vaccines. And these adjuvants are used in 7 of the vaccines currently given to infants and young children. So why are aluminum adjuvants in vaccines? The main reason is to make for a better immune response. This allows for giving fewer doses and lesser quantities of the actual vaccine itself. So these aluminum adjuvants aren't in live attenuated viral vaccines like the measles vaccine or the mumps vaccine or the German measles vaccine or the chickenpox vaccine or the rotavirus vaccine, but they are in some other vaccines like the hepatitis B vaccine or the hepatitis A vaccine or the pneumococcal vaccine. So that's why they're there. They're there because they help to make for a better, longer lasting immune response. So are aluminum adjuvants safe? So aluminum is the 3rd most common metal on the Earth's surface. It's in the water we drink, it's in much of the food we eat, it's in soil, it's in plants, so there is no avoiding aluminum. In the first 6 months of life, a child will be exposed typically to about 4.5 milligrams, which is 1,000th of a gram, of aluminum in vaccines. At the same time, that child will ingest about 7 milligrams of aluminum in breast milk, about 38 milligrams of aluminum in infant formula, and about 117 milligrams of aluminum from soy-based formulas. So we're all exposed to aluminum, and there's no avoiding. If you look at children who receive aluminum-containing vaccines and test their bloodstream to see whether or not there's any evidence that you've increased the normal burden of aluminum that children are exposed to, you can't tell that there's any difference. And if you look at bloodstream levels of aluminum and levels of aluminum in hair, and then try and compare it retrospectively to vaccine histories, meaning some children got some vaccines, others didn't get those vaccines, you can find no difference. So for those reasons, it was likely that when studies were done, that the aluminum adjuvants in vaccines would be found to be safe. And that's exactly what's happened. The best study was performed recently and published in the Annals of Internal Medicine. The senior author was a man named Anders Vid. His last name is spelled H-V-I-I-D. And what he did was he looked at 1.2 million children in Denmark between 1997 and 2020. So that's a 23-year period of time during which children received different quantities of aluminum adjuvants in vaccines. So he could look then at a milligram for milligram level whether there was any association between receiving aluminum adjuvants in vaccines and neurodevelopmental problems or autoimmune problems or allergic problems. And he found that there was no association between receiving aluminum adjuvants in vaccines and any of those 50 problems that he looked at. So I think that's very reassuring. So I think our Secretary of Health and Human Services should be largely reassured by what we know about the biology of aluminum and should be largely reassured by this recently published study in the Annals of Internal Medicine. Thank you.